There's a lot of good takeaways from that fight. Like not even just the fight itself, but the promotion, the
Mm-hmm.
post-conference interviews. If everyone listening, I highly suggest you listen to Dustin Poirier and Dana White's post-conference interview of the UFC fight between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. There's a lot of insight that you can get from both of those guys. They're very, very intelligent, powerful people, and they had a lot to offer and say. But one of the things that stuck out to me about Dustin Poirier, and I gained a lot of respect for him, um, is that he was just unfazed by other people. He was unfazed with the whole promotion, Conor McGregor talking about all this wild stuff that probably shouldn't have been said about his family and his personal health. Then it's just to me he gained a lot of respect because he didn't worry about himself, right? This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. He's running his own race. He didn't run Conor McGregor's race. He didn't run the social media's race of what they expected or other fighters expectancy for Dustin Poirier. He ran his own race. He knows himself. He's like, okay, I got this whole fight. If you listen to the press conference post conference interview, Dustin was like, here we go again. He knows himself. He knows in that pre-locker that he's in before the fight. He knows what he's got to do. He knows how he has to prepare himself. It's just being unfazed by it. He called, this is really cool too. He called everything else noise. He called the crowd's noise, Connor talking noise. He called everything else that was not his goal and what he was not focused on. He called it noise because that's what it is. It's just it's just distracting yourself. It's if you choose to listen to the noise, you're doing yourself a disservice and you're cheating yourself because you're having too many minds. You need to have one mind, and that mind is focused on one thing and one thing only. Our minds are not very uh complex like that when it comes to can't handle too many tasks at once. You got to be able to focus yourself on one thing and give it all your 120% to that one thing versus allocations of 25% to promotion, 25% to post conference interview, 30% to fans and making sure they're happy. No, you're not going to win the fight if you put only 35% at the end of the day into what you're actually doing in the fight, right? Instead, you take away those percentages and you put it all into the fight like Poirier did, right? And the results are going to be the results.
I like how calm Poirier was.
Hmm.
Um, how impressive for him to not let Connor get to him mentally, because that's all
Hmm.
it was, Eric. It's all a mental game for Connor. Connor
Yeah.
understands, if I can get this mate in his emotions, then then that could win me a match.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, Poirier wasn't biting, man.
Mm-mm. It's all smoky
Uh,
mirrors.
he didn't let the knockout against McGregor get to his head either. He mentioned it a couple times. Dog, I knocked you out last time. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
Um, he didn't let it get to his head. He understood that at the end of the day, he still has to perform. And back to my point of boxing be a lonely sport, and not having to need anyone on your side. That's at the end of the day, that's the true winner, the one who's independently strong. That was Poirier. He was a,
Mhm.
a perfect display of focus, determination, and purpose. He wished Connor the best of luck at the end of the thing. He said,
Mhm.
I hope you return safely to your wife and kids. And
Mhm.
that's in, that's that. He got his check. He did his training, Eric. And I wanted to mention this before I forget. Uh, Joe Rogan asked, it's a crazy ending, blah blah blah. What do you expect? Like, how do you feel? We all didn't expect this. And he's like, look, I trained, I did my camp, and sometimes when you put in work, good things happen. And in this case, you know, uh, unfortunately, Conor McGregor had a crazy injury. And there's so much truth to that, Eric, because it's that saying, hard work meets opportunity or something like that, whatever that
Mhm.
saying is. All that saying is when you touch all your bases, good things do happen.
Mhm.
it's all green lights on the way to work, or you find $5 in the parking lot at work, or good things happen. Coworkers buy you a lunch that day or that week, that you pushed yourself to stay disciplined. And in this case, Poirier granted Conor a rematch and didn't let anything get to his head, didn't let the knockout get to his head, didn't let the words McGregor was saying get to his head. He remained focused, he remained disciplined, he looked sharp. And like Poirier said, sometimes when you work hard, good things happen to you. And what that meant is in 5 minutes, Poirier can go back to his wife safely after those threats. That's what it means.
Yeah. And again, another part that I loved about that post-conference interview by Dustin Poirier, there's a lot of questions those reporters were asking about what's next or what do you think about this and la 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 la. A lot of Dustin Poirier's responses were, I don't know. I need to go home and decompress and
Yeah.
rethink and figure this out. And that is huge. And that's what we talk about on this podcast a lot, is your mentality, right? That's his mentality is so sharp and so focused that he knows that you can't just say things to say things or do things to do things, right? He knows himself, he knows his body, and part of that is to decompress. He goes home, he self-reflects, he journals, he talks to his wife, whatever it might be for him, because everybody's different. He's working on his mind, and that's the first thing that comes to his head is his mindset, not his physical ability or his position, right? He could have easily said, yeah, no, I want the title shot, right? Oh, I want to fight this next person, or Connor deserved what he no, he said, I don't know, I need to go home and think about it. Because if your mindset is your first thing on your mind, I know it kind of sounds funny, but your mindset is the first thing on your mind. It really is helpful. It's like one of the strongest muscles in your body is your mind.